Hello and welcome to Shelby Spotlight. I'm Arthur Schink, and in with me today are two ladies from Turning Point, and it's Karen Bates Geisher.
Pretty good.
Pretty close, hopefully. And then we have Sarah Dobbin in. Tell me a little bit, first off, for those people out watching that might not know what Turning Point's all about. If you could.
Sure. Turning Point is a shelter for domestic violence victims, women and children. We handle sexual assault, and we also will take people who are homeless. If there's women and children who are homeless and we have room in our shelter, we would take them as well. But we offer a wide range of services. We do counseling, which is what Sarah does. We do advocating. We're in the courts. We help with PPOs. We help with all different things in the legal system. We have what we call FNAP, Forensic Nurse Examiner program. If somebody, and it can be a woman, a man, or a child that is sexually assaulted, they are sent to our office where they are given an examination. Evidence is collected. The family's counseled. They're counseled. We administer HIV meds if needed. We just have a whole variety of things that we do for people who are victims of domestic violence or sexual assault.
The big list of things that you mentioned, it seems like, well, couldn't you just leave? But there's a lot more to it, obviously.
There is a lot more to it, and that's something I can let Sarah talk a little bit about, but it's never as simple as just leave. Never that simple.
Mm-hmm.
No, there's so many barriers that survivors face, and I think as a society we should start switching over to why doesn't she leave, to why does he perpetrate violence.
Mm-hmm. So I've sadly known some people, some ladies that you've heard of some violence going on, but I wonder, why don't they just leave? How can they take that? But there's more to it involved. It's not just there being a punching bag, like they like that.
No, there's a lot of isolation that happens where batterers take away a survivor support network. Mm-hmm. So any chance she had to leave, maybe she can't anymore. Mm-hmm. Limited resources, shelters are often full. Financially, they haven't been able to have a job or have access to bank accounts. And then there's also barriers with children if a survivor has a child.
Mm-hmm. So, and it doesn't have to be physical violence either that someone would be suffering.
Not at all. It can be emotional, verbal, psychological, financial, or physical.
Mm-hmm. So, obviously you guys are out there, but there's got to be things you do to get funding and this and that. You got some events coming up that you came to promote.
We do. We have a couple big ones. October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month, so we do a lot. In October, we focus on a lot of things. Our kickoff event is the Tara's Walk. That is an event that was started by Tara Grant's family. Tara Grant was a victim of domestic violence, was killed by her husband, and so this event was started in her honor. And so this year it's at Freedom Hill. It's October 3rd, so it's kind of the kickoff for the month. Starts at 10 a.m., registration at 9 a.m. It's $20 for people to participate. They can go onto our website for information. Active.com is the registration site. It's actually going to be a different sort of event this year. It's not going to be just a 5K run and it's over. It's going to be very family friendly this year. We've got clowns and face painters and stilt walkers and pumpkin painting for the kids. Our clothesline project is going to be there. We have a peace pledge for families to do as a family. There's going to be places for photo opportunities, as well as the 5K. We've got a DJ, so it's going to be a really fun day. Picnic lunch after the walk is being provided, so I think it's going to be a really nice family-friendly event, but it's to raise awareness for domestic violence and raise some funds. Actually, that particular event is a special fund for emergencies that we hold that money for those kind of things.
Outstanding. So, now, you mentioned active.com. I'm assuming like Tara's Walk, you look up.
Tara's Walk, correct. But if you go to our website, there's a link and you can click it and it goes right there. Our Facebook page is another great place to get information about things that we have coming up, because we have a lot of different events in October. We have an Alex and Ani event. Tonight we have a Culver's event. There's all different kinds of things. And then Stepping Out with the Stars on the 23rd of October is our other big event, and that is a much more splashy, not kid-friendly event. We have various celebrities that have been practicing with Arthur Murray Dance Studio instructors, and it's at Villa Penna on the 23rd. It's $75 a person, but that's dinner, drinks, dancing, and it's like Dancing with the Stars. These celebrities are going to be dancing with their partners, and then the audience will be able to vote. There'll be online voting. So they've been practicing really hard. They have 20 lessons, and we're really excited about that. We have some guest celebrity judges, guest celebrity dancers, and I think that's going to be a really fabulous evening as well.
Now that can sell out, I'm assuming.
Yes, we can take up to 450 people, and as of yesterday, we were at 150, but we're still a month out, so I'm hopeful that we will indeed sell it out.
Okay, now obviously that's not the same website that you'd look
Well,
up on
actually, they can go to our website.
Well, I was thinking active.com.
Oh, no, it's not active.com. If they go to turningpointmacomb.org, www.turningpointmacomb.org, they can go to our website and they can click a button and buy their tickets right on our website.
Okay.
So very excited about that. There's an outstanding, fabulous silent auction that night as well. They've got some just really amazing packages and all kinds of things that are donated that are going to be up for auction as well.
Well, at Turning Point, it sounds like you have a huge group of people working together and outside sources. On your website, I noticed some Secondhand Rose.
Secondhand Rose is our resale shop. It's actually housed in our administration building. Admin's on one side and the store is on the other. And that's a place where people can come in and buy items at a really, really inexpensive price. Everything in there pretty much has been donated. A lot of it's new. We have, if TJ Maxx has something they can't get rid of, they'll give it to us, that kind of thing. So there's new clothing, there's household items, there's furniture. Actually, and it's a vehicle for the women in the shelter when they're leaving the shelter, or even when they're coming in, if they need clothes for an interview, or they're leaving and they need household goods, anything like that, they can come into the store and they shop for free. So it's to help the residents or our clients. It's also to help the general public because, if you're a big family and you need school clothes and you don't have the money to go buy a bunch of brand new stuff, you can get really good prices on things at our store.
Is there anything else that you'd like to add about your group now that you have the chance? It's okay if you don't.
Oh, no, I'm sure we have lots
we
can do. We do.
So also when you're out in the community, if you happen to see purple ribbons,
okay,
those are for Domestic Violence Awareness Month. Last year we distributed about 3,500 ribbons to the community. And if anybody wants ribbons, they can definitely contact our office or shoot us an email through the website.
Okay. Now, one thing I'd like to mention about the website, I went on and I was looking, all of a sudden a page comes up and tells me if I'm kind of being watched. Do you want to explain? I think it was really kind of neat in case you were in a household that was being kind of watched or
monitored.
Yes. So we know with the internet, even if you clear history and things like that, some things are still searchable for a batterer to find that maybe you're reaching out for help or, trying to find a shelter. And we know when survivors are trying to leave, that's the most dangerous time for them. So the website it pops up with a little warning that this could be being monitored. If you think that's a concern, to X out, and it gives our crisis line phone number.
If anybody has questions, our office is 463-4430. Crisis line is 463-6990.
Okay.
Those are two very important numbers, I think, to get out there because you don't know who needs help. And that's one of the things that we're really working on right now is a big program at college campuses and really directed at men and I want to say boys, but young men and men about being an active bystander. I know the NFL right now is making a big deal because of some of the things that have happened there. They've had some pretty major issues, and so they've kind of stepped it up a little bit. But really, this is a men's problem. It's not just a women's problem. It's a community problem, but it's a men's problem as well. And I think that's really important to get out there. That you said you know somebody. Did you actually do something to help that person?
Well, I had tried. I had offered up an extra house I had, and they didn't take it.
But that
I have extra houses laying around.
But that's great that you did that. But that's one of the things we're really working on is people being active bystanders. If you know that there's something going on, what can you do?
Well, can I ask you something that it brought to mind, and it happened to me as a young man on an occasion. Some of my friends, you see a couple out in public fighting, and let's say the guy's roughing up his girl, and I've intervened and had other people intervene, and they both turn on you. And I know it's probably not always the case, but I've had that happen. What would you do in a case like that? Maybe just back away, or hey, don't hit that girl, and then she starts smacking you with her, husband, boyfriend, or whoever it was.
I think sometimes when attention is called to violence out in public, it puts the survivor at higher risk. So sometimes just, maybe if there's a way to slip her a business card that has Turning Point's number on it, which is why it's really great in a lot of the hospitals, our business cards are there. So hopefully if a survivor's in a restroom alone, she can grab a business card. So just being aware in the community that sometimes survivors don't need you to intervene right now because it could make violence worse for them.
Okay, so that could be one of the reasons, maybe not just, alcohol or anything like that. Someone's just not in the right mind. They were afraid and they didn't want to show that. Okay, cool. Not that.
No, but it is a big deal. I mean, and that's something, again, and we need to teach our children. You know, I have 2 sons that are both in college. And, you know, I've had to tell them, you know, if you see something going on, you see a girl, you know, get slipped something in her drink, or you have a responsibility to intervene. You know, it is your problem. And most people don't think that it's their problem. They'll be like, you know, they turn the other way. And you can't. That just, you know, it's agreeing with it by not doing something, and that's just not acceptable. So like I said, we're having a really big campaign right now to push that active bystander, and that this is not just a woman's problem, that this is a community problem, that this is a men's problem. Because as a man is much more likely to listen to you as a peer than he is from another female if he's a batterer, because obviously he has issues with females to start with. So you have a responsibility to get involved, and like she said, maybe it's not to intervene at that moment, but there are still things that you can do. So,
well, and I think maybe not even for a man and a woman, but for society, a civil society, we're going to want to get through this.
correct, and that was, you know, kind of Sarah's point earlier, is this, it's not a question of why should she leave. Really the question is he needs to stop hitting. You know what I mean? We need to turn around. We always make it the victim's fault, and it's not. It's not the survivor's fault. It's he has the problem. So we need to kind of flip it around a little bit. She doesn't need to leave. He needs to take himself out of the situation. So.
And not to play devil's advocate.
But go ahead.
If a man, little known fact in society, men can get abused.
Absolutely.
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 Is there? Would you send a gentleman a different direction, or
Nope, our
or is
services.
that addressed?
Our services are available to any survivor that identifies as a survivor. So that may be a woman, child, adult, male, anything. So they could still contact our office, and we would make sure that they get the best services that are available to them.
Okay.
But we do, like I said, we do have a variety of services, things that people don't really realize. You know, like I said, we have the advocates, we have people embedded in the courts, because it's really overwhelming when you're trying to go through the system for survivors, that they don't know what's going on, or, you know, they're just not familiar with it. And again, they've been isolated. And so we have people that are there to help walk them through the process. You know, how do you get your kids? How do you get a PPO? How do you, all of this? Because it's really a challenge. And so we try to, we're not just, oh, here's a shelter. It's so much bigger than that. It's just, you know, we try to encompass
to me,
everything.
it's just not the escape. It's the building afterwards.
Absolutely. I mean, if a survivor goes to the shelter, then what? She's not going to stay in the shelter forever. She has to be able to take the next step. So, you know, in the shelter, they have a whole program that they have to follow, where they are doing, you know, job hunting, where they're trying to get, you know, new housing, you know, whatever they need, whatever services they need. You know, most of them have children. They have to get them through the schools. It's just, how do you get your kids to a doctor appointment if you've fled somebody who's battering you, and he knows that your kid has a doctor appointment? How do you handle that? So, you know, there's just it's not just an escape. It's so much more. So much more.
Sounds like it. Well, I'm going to ask you one thing. If you could give your general number again.
586-463-4430.
Okay, and that crisis line, just in case someone needs it.
586-463-6990.
Outstanding. Well, ladies, thank you very much for being on the show. I appreciate it. And by the way, you're doing great work. Keep up the
Thank
great
you.
work.
Thank you. We appreciate it.
All right. You've watched Shelby Spotlight. I'm Arthur Schenk. Thank you for watching.
All right, that was a good practice.